Okay, part 2 of the Sccy. I had to change batteries at the same time. Hopefully these batteries will last a little bit longer, because this camera, again, which is the Canon T4i, has been sitting, so the batteries haven't been charged up. So I got them on charge, and hopefully they'll charge up fast enough so that we don't lose any. But anyway, the Sccy, they had it in stock. I bought it. We went to the range. Recap. Wife loved it. I liked the way it worked. I fired it. I bought another one. I'm picking it up hopefully tomorrow, which is Thursday. I bought it at Valley Firearms in Shelton, Connecticut. $250. Great deal. So far, we've probably got 350, 400 rounds through it with no failures. And I had brought a number of different types of 9mm with me. Now, I didn't bring any of the aluminum crap because I carry only brass. That's all I ever shoot at this point. So I don't know how that actually works. You know, that Tulsa or Tusa, whatever they call that other, or Wolf. As a rule, I don't use that stuff, but so far I had no problems with it. However, I did have an issue. Now, I watched a couple videos through the course of the year that I've been looking to buy this thing. And there was one guy on there, Hickok, I think it is. He did a review on it, and he had a few problems with it. That when it went to load, the round would normally be there, right on the follower between the feed lips. And when this chamber's closed, it pushes that round into the chamber. So what was happening was it was getting caught kind of halfway, and he'd have to give the back of the gun a little wrap. Now, that happens with a lot of guns, with some like reloads. Sometimes guys will reload them so many times that the casing actually bellows. So that could cause that. But I know these were new rounds, and it shouldn't have been causing that. So anyway, that was Bill Hickok. And then there was another guy that had a couple hiccups with it, but the rest of them had no problems with this gun. Now, I did see a video yesterday. I forgot the guy's channel. I actually hit the subscribe button. He didn't like it because it was throwing the brass too far. Well, that's not a big concern of mine, right? You know, so I don't care how far the brass goes. Have I noticed it? No, because I don't pay attention to that. I fired hundreds of guns, and that's something I really don't care about, as long as it's not hitting me in the head. And it's going over the shoulder, so it's not going to start, well, not so far over the shoulder, but not directly across to where it's going to start hitting somebody else in the head. And then he also had a couple legitimate problems. One of them he could have fixed himself. This pin was sticking up a little bit. Well, you know what? Get a little piece of wooden hammer, fiberglass hammer or something, just tap it down a little bit, or push it in with a punch. But the problem he did have, which I thought was a concern, and he was going to contact Sccy. I had nothing to do with him doing that, but back here the firearm had a crack, and that's the problem. But other than that, there was no problems, and I had no problems with it, other than, I'll get to that right now. The magazine had an issue, and I got them out here now because I got to take care of it. This one I've already repaired. Let me see if I can find one that I hadn't repaired. Yeah, here we go. I have them out here now because I got to repair them. What was happening here, I know I've got poor lighting, guys, and the focus again, so let me see if I can focus this in. The magazine right here has a little bellow. Now, I don't know if you're actually going to see that bellow or not, because it's a slight bellow. And what was happening was, when I came out here that day to load it and wipe it down and clean it before we went to the range, I noticed that the follower, this is called the follower, was getting stuck and the ammunition was also getting stuck, and it was getting stuck down near the bottom to where the top rounds, they were just falling in because there was no pressure on it, and I was able to just shake them out. Well, what was happening was, this being bellowed in like it is, the follower was getting stuck coming up, and the tip of the bullet was actually getting stuck. Now, I'll show you how tight it is. I'm going to get around. Now, if you can see that, and I push that down anymore, see how it's starting to hit? Well, if that's dragging on the inside, it's going to cause that round to get stuck down there. And I actually did a video with them being stuck. I don't know if any of these will do it right now, only because, let me wipe them off. What had happened was I had a few of these oiled, well, not oiled, but I had a couple of rounds that I just sprayed some lube on them. Now before, if I was to pop these off, let me refocus, guys. I should put this on autofocus. It'd be worth listening to the click. But when I was doing this, what would happen is the round would actually stay down there when I pulled it out, and it would get stuck, and I would have to squeeze the magazine right here, and it would pop right up. Now, when I start repairing these magazines, I'll show you if it happens. I'll record it immediately. But meanwhile, let me take these magazines and put them back with the ammunition over here, because I don't want them near the gun. Now, as far as taking the gun down, I'm going to have to take it down and clean it. So I figure I'll give you a quickie on that. I've got approximately, we'll say, 4 or 5 minutes, so we'll do it. Now, there's one thing about the gun that I don't care for, but it wasn't a deal breaker, because like I said, I ordered another one. Disassemble. And there's that train. I told you, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 2 in the evening. And every time I come out here, I video, it's always the same time. So, at that point, I don't care for the way the slide comes off. Here's a gun that I've had for many, many, many years. This is a Browning, a 380, it's a double action unit. And in order to open this or get the slide off it, I have to depress this little button here on this side. And when I do that, I turn this lever and the slide comes right off. Okay? And put it back on. Yep. Depress that button again, in, and I can just take this, and at that point, if the slide was in place, and I push that button, hello, put the slide in place there, Buzz. And actually, it's a lot easier than this if the slide was in place. Guys, there. I'm used to doing it the other way, my hand. All right, so anyway, that's how that works. Let me take this and move it. And most of my guns have that little lever. Some of them you have to bring it back and then twist the lever, but most of them have that little lever. This one has a little pin. You can just pull it out. And hold the slide, release the slide lock, and the slide comes right off for cleaning. So the gun is easy to disassemble, as most of them are. There's a few that are not, all right, but most in general are. Now this also has a little cutout in it, so if you can't get your fingernail in it, you can actually use a casing, because that'll fit right in there. And I might as well show you that while I'm over here. Let me see. The back side fits right in there, and you can pull it right out. So that's how that works. Again, I don't care for that too much, but I didn't care, but it wasn't to a point to where it was a deal breaker. Like I said, I ordered a second one, so it's not a big deal. So when it comes to cleaning, let's see here. I can probably get it done. It takes usually a few minutes to do this, but we'll see what happens. Well, first thing you want, no, you know what? It's not going to do. I'm going to do another video, guys. Sorry. I'll do a part 3 on the cleaning. Let's do some tools first. First, let me move these out of the way. Don't lose that pin. Guide spring and guide rod. Some of these springs are not attached to the rod. They're just slid over, and they're longer, so there'll be tension on it. When you go to take it out of the gun, and if you're not paying attention, it's going to go ping, and you may be looking for that spring for a long time. So pay attention, because not all of them are attached. Cleaning the gun. When you're going to buy your cleaning tools, personally, I don't recommend buying a kit, because sometimes these companies that put these kits together, you actually end up paying more sometimes, because they add a lot of freebies, kind of. They add a lot of like patches. You're going to need patches, right? But you can cut up a t-shirt, anything, you know. You can use diapers, I mean, whatever. Any type of a soft cotton or flannel material, you know, preferably white or light gray or something, or cotton balls. You can use those. So to have to buy patches is kind of silly. But what they do is they put a lot of that kind of crap in, all right, because they kind of want to make it look like you're getting a lot for your money. And meanwhile, you know, you're not getting a lot of what you need for your money. So you're wasting money. There's a few things you want to worry about. One is the caliber that you own. You want to buy the brush. There's 2 different size brushes. You want to buy the brush for your caliber. They make them in the brass, you know, steel. They make them in the nylon, a fiberglass. They make tons of different materials. Buy whichever one you like. It doesn't make too much of a difference. Naturally, your wire ones are going to clean a little bit better. So buy the brushes that you need for your caliber.